Halloween. The Night of the Witches. A centuries-old tradition that combines bonfires in witches' houses, pumpkins and sweets. In its beginnings it was a pagan festival, a Celtic ritual called Samhaja, which celebrated the end of summer and the arrival of short, cold days. Samhaja lasted 3 days and began on October 31st with rituals attributed to the King of the Dead. Every night of October 31st, the Celts made human sacrifices of children and young virgins given by their own families, because that night the sorcerers would arrive disguised as demons. They asked for food and young people for their sacrifices. If they complied, they would leave in peace by making a deal. If not, they would cast a curse and a member of the family would die that year. Is this the seemingly harmless origin of the sweet trick? The history of Halloween dates back more than 2,500 years. Livestock were taken from the meadows to the stables for the winter. On that last day, spirits were supposed to emerge from the cemeteries and take possession of the bodies of the living in order to resurrect themselves. The Celtic people would litter their homes and decorate them with bones, skulls, and other unpleasant objects, so that the dead would pass them by in fear. Hence the tradition of decorating homes with sinister motifs on the present-day All Saints' Eve, as well as the costumes. It is thus a festival associated with the coming back to life of the pagan gods. It is said that witches would use the skulls of human victims and decorate them with candles between the eye sockets and nose. When the Irish pagans arrived in the United States, they could not carry out these practices with human skulls, so they used pumpkins. The fact that this festival has survived to the present day is in part due to the enormous commercial display and advertising generated by American commercial cinema. The typical image of North American children running through the dark streets dressed as goblins, ghosts, and demons, asking for sweets and candies from the inhabitants of that dark and quiet neighborhood of houses. This image in those countries is not far from reality, and more or less that is how it came about. But if you think that this is part of the past, that there is nothing wrong with it today, you are wrong. Teaching a child to blackmail corrupts their moral values. You are teaching them that they can get what they want by threatening another person. In addition, you are fostering in them thoughts that justify evil. What does that mean? That their little minds are eliminating the natural rejection of evil. That being a monstrous murderer or something frightening is something acceptable, that it is even popular, attractive, or imitable. In addition, it damages their self-esteem because it forces them to participate in order to fit in with others, and that is barely the psychological damage. On a spiritual level, you are participating in a satanic rite worldwide. Every October, millions of dark ceremonies and rituals are performed. Where the local witch, the santero your friends go to, and high-ranking sorcerers all participate, offering your and your children's participation in their loss of innocence through abortions and animal sacrifices, among many others. And chain stores, in their eagerness to make more money, interfere in the education of your children and the deformation of their minds. With the invasion of these negative and harmful foreign traditions, that's why say no to Halloween.